I don't know if you guys know, or you should know, today we should be, what time's now as we call this podcast? It's a Sunday, it's 1:15. Eric, you probably would have crossed the finish line by now in Madrid.
Yeah, I would have won, you're right, Seán. I am the best runner of all of us. Keep beating my ego there, Seán.
Well, I didn't say, Connor's probably already done it all in the middle of an ice bath right now. I'd still be going, and Puds, you'd be lying down in the back of a hospital. So that's what
I was kind of hoping the ambulance would just take me to the finish line. I could just hop off there.
Hey guys, Seán here. Welcome to another episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. Once again, we are joined by Zoom on dodgy connection on Zoom. We have Eric. Say hello, Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Dodgy connection confirmed. Connor, how are things with you? Say hello, Connor.
Hello, Connor.
And Aaron, once again on the Zoom call. Aaron, how are we getting on?
Hello, Seán. How are we getting on?
Not too bad. So I suppose, believe it or not, we will go straight into today's content with the running. And we've seen obviously a lot of people doing the run 5, donate 5, nominate 5, which is a pretty cool thing. But I'm also seeing some things on Twitter about like elite runners saying people shouldn't be running too much, you shouldn't be jumping straight to 5k and all that. And I'm like, if people want to run 5k, great. If you want to walk 5k, great. As long as they're nominating, I don't really care. I don't really care about stats, and get into like, Rory stories and Paddy Power doing the people saying actually doing the 5k and the numbers, stuff like that. That's all going to come out anyway when it comes to park runs. We're all open, so that's a whole nother wormhole we're not going to get into. But what we'll get into was Aaron was talking in the WhatsApp group about his calves and stuff were sore last week, and do we all have different running routines? I know myself that before most runs now, I'm going to hold my hands up and not be a hypocrite on it. There are some days I just put on the shorts and stuff and I go, right, let's go and let's run. And sometimes I do that and I get away with it, and sometimes the calves kind of tighten up. I feel a bit sore and I'm like, Seán, can't keep doing that. But when I do go through a proper routine to warm up, I'm not talking about a huge routine, I might foam roll for like 2 minutes max just to get the blood going on it. But more than likely, I'll do a couple of exercises in the ground, like glute bridges to switch on my glutes and my hamstrings, and that helps my lower back, especially dead bugs, doing a bit of core work. And then I'll do like 6-8 split squats, kind of like reverse lunges, and single leg RDLs for balance and knee work. I might, if I'm feeling a bit cold, I might do like 3 or 4 squat jumps. Like, I hate when we do different running events. Like, I remember last year I was doing a run and I started off in the sand, and your man's like, okay, we're going to do 20 squat jumps. And this was after doing like 15 squats and 15 reverse lunges and high knees as fast as you can for 10 seconds. I'm like, mate, I am doing none of this because I'm going to be dead dog tired before the race even starts. And now you want me to run 1.5 kilometers through thick sand? No, I've seen people doing it and they blew up before the race even started. I'm like, that's stupid. So that's one quick extreme. My way is like 4 or 5 minutes just to switch on the muscles, get a bit of mobility. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Connor, before we hit the record button, you were talking about dynamic stretching.
Yeah, so I suppose, kind of going back to my background, obviously everything that I do is kind of hurling focus. So, similarly bringing that to my pre-run routine, what I would tend to do is it'd be quite rare that I'd foam roll before a run. But certainly, every run beforehand, what I'll do is I'll do some dynamic stretching. So that could be everything from, basic kind of, walking hamstring stretches, walking calf stretches, lunges, tuck jumps, bodyweight squats. What I'll also tend to do is kind of take, anywhere from 300 to 500 meters at a very, very light pace. And I'm talking, could be the equivalent of 6:30 minute kilometer pace. So, quite slow for me, just to loosen out the legs, and kind of get everything functioning, because I suppose in the past I would have had problems with my calves and hamstrings, and obviously running on hard ground isn't great for your joints either. So I find that, kind of taking that time just to warm everything up, really helps.
How long I'm talking about here? The whole warm-up process, like, and how many kind of tuck jumps and squats? What kind of rep ranges are we doing here?
So probably, usually about, between 5 and 8.
Okay.
And I suppose the whole routine taking no more than 10 minutes.
Perfect. Eric, would your approach to long runs, would all change? And would it be similar to your approach to before triathlon events?
I'm really bad at stretching before I run. I do like a quick, if it's even a minute, I'd start with my ankles, quick calves, quick hammies, one or two sides left and right for the groin, stretch the shoulders, and then off I go. Like, I don't really put a lot of time into it now. In the after run phase, that's where I would do a lot of stretching, a lot of foam rolling, because I don't know, I kind of feel like I'd stretch the quads more so, because I did get quite a lot of knee pain last year towards the end of the season after the marathon. But for me, no, I don't really spend a lot of time doing the warm up. When I'm going for my 5k best effort though, I do warm up. I run about 1 kilometer beforehand, really slow, and I loosen muscles just because going that fast. Like on the slow run, not a lot. You're using your muscles, but when you're taking off at a sprint, there's more chance of things going wrong. So, but for the slow runs, no, it tends to be a quick one, and then afterwards, in my recovery, probably an hour or two after I've ran as well, when I've stopped sweating and calmed down, I'll do a quick little stretch, but then later on that night I'll go for a longer stretch and holding the stretches and foam roll.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I don't see much point in doing just stretches before a run. Like, but I try and get mobility in a different way. So I get a couple of squats in and try and go as low as I can doing the squats. So that's just getting the muscles warmed up as well as doing a bit of mobility as well. Aaron is laughing at me. I'm actually going to tell this little story here. Aaron watched one of my personal training videos, and he's laughing there because he said he caught me doing a set of squats, and the last one he said I went down around 6 degrees and right back up. And my point is, hey, one, it was probably, the 40 seconds were up, and two, Aaron, thank you for watching the entire video without doing a single rep of a single exercise. And with that said, I may as well ask you as well, Aaron, what kind of things have you been doing? Because before we hit the record button, you said your calves and stuff are feeling better this week, and you went for a run on Monday and Wednesday so far this week. So was there any pre-warm to that, or did you just get up and go?
No, just get up and go. That's pretty much my routine. But afterwards, the last couple of weeks, I've just been going, I don't know, foam roller, kind of out the front garden or whatever it is, and it's just, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes after my run, just on that. And
I'd say the neighbours are delighted with that fight.
I'd say, well, like, in fairness, like, it's a good thing, like, most of the neighbours are away. I don't know, they must have went to Wexford or something.
I love that. Not the back garden, out the front garden. That's why he was doing the garden all day yesterday, the back garden, to make it look good for his foam roll and afterwards.
He was can't run today.
My back is a little sore. I can't do my long run today. Yeah, he gave out to me when I backed out of a run a couple of weeks ago. My back.
But I have a proper excuse. You hurt your back running the last time, didn't you?
The last time I did it in the gym, and sometimes it's sore to run. That's why I do some core work beforehand just to switch on the muscle. And I'm only talking 3-4 minutes here. Like it's on the ground. I loosen that a little bit, switch on the glutes and hams a bit with my glute bridges. Talking about 8-10 reps. Same with dead bugs. Couple of squats, split squats, single leg RDL. Get a bit of bands going. Might do a couple of squat jumps. Normally don't, and then right out the door away we go. If I feel late, I just go and do it. Speaking of prep before runs, I don't know if you guys know, or you should know, today we should be, what time's now as we record this podcast? It's a Sunday, it's 1:15. Eric, you probably would have crossed the finish line by now in Madrid.
I would have won, you're right, Seán. I am the best runner of all of us. Keep feeding my ego there, Seán.
Well, I didn't say, Connor's probably already done it all in the middle of an ice bath right now. I'd still be going, and Puds, you'd be lying down in the back of a hospital. So that's what I
was kind of hoping the ambulance would just take me to the finish line. I could just hop off there.
It's a bit weird. I'm purposely doing nothing today, just despite the fact that I should have done a lot of work today. So I'm not even running. So I'm going to have a movie marathon instead of a running marathon. But it is strange. It's weird. It was seeing the emails and stuff and the reminders, and you're like, But it actually just shows you as well, like, since it was cancelled probably 7 weeks to go, it felt like a long time. Like, you forget how long 7 weeks is in terms of training, because we've started doing 5K stuff and I've gotten a lot, fitter in the last 7 weeks, but it is weird in the prep for the marathon. Like, I feel like I could have ran a marathon today, because of the training we've done over the last 7 weeks, even though it was slightly different. But it is strange now sitting at home and not having a few beers in Madrid after running the marathon.
Yeah, I feel like part of me wanted to try and keep going, just do a marathon today because I was supposed to do a marathon. But then I feel like I've done too many kind of short distance runs. My long runs have only been 15, 16K, that 10-mile mark. So I was just like, you know, even today I was like, will I go for a half marathon? And I was like, I was near a sub 120 on a 16, on a 10 mile. I was like, let's just try and get a good time and improve. And now, you know, that's in for another day. It's mad. Like, I think all of us, our running plans and stuff changed. But go back to last October, the build up to the Dublin City Marathon, because I was always interested in how I react going to Madrid and acclimatizing in 1-2 days and going through the expo, because I know last year the three of us, myself, Eric and Connor, we did the Dublin City Marathon. We went to the expo and I was like, right, the training plan went great the last 6 weeks. Don't ask about the 10 weeks before. After the last 6 weeks, it went great. I've done more running those last 6 weeks than I ever had before in my life, just to build myself up and get there. I was like, I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. And I was like, just stay here in the expo, take in the experience, take in the atmosphere for an hour or two, and get out of there, because I dropped Neve to the airport. So we get there. Next thing I know, the three of us have a competition of how long we can hang off a monkey bar. We're eating pretty much everything. I don't know how many Quest bars, different sugar drinks, different gels we had. We had Claire from Essential Oils, all that kind of stuff. So what ended up happening was I was jittery because, like, I have me chocolates and I drink beer and all that, but I don't actually have that many sweets. So the sugar rush was just immense. So I remember I came back, I dropped Neve to the airport and I came back and I was like this. I didn't know if there was something wrong with the car, or I was just shaking. I didn't know what was going on. So I was like, I have to do something. What am I going to do? I'm going to do something. So I bypassed the apartment. I went to Tesco's. I spent an hour going around the trolley. I had nothing in the trolley, but I realized I'm hosting a Halloween party the next night. I hadn't told anyone yet. I was like, I'm hosting a Halloween party. I told no one. And I was like, what do I get? I'll get this. No, I won't get this. I'll come down and get this. An hour. I swear to God, I had nothing in a trolley after an hour. I was like, right. So I just eventually just threw a load of stuff in. I got some decorations. I spent the next 2 hours after that decorating the apartment for Halloween decorations. Then I started to text everyone and say, by the way, Halloween session in my apartment tomorrow after the marathon. Then I watched The Equalizer, Denzel Washington. That's like my go-to film when I want to do other things as well. So I stuck that on. I watched 20 pairs of Jordans, and some people may be listening going, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Trust me, it's not. I went to bed and I realized I've done no prep for anything for this around 11 o'clock, because it was like, got me racing gear together. And then for the next 6-7 hours, I pretty much counted all the little dots in the ceiling because I did not sleep. And I'm like, I completely messed up this routine before the marathon. Thank God it all went together. But if we're in Madrid, I have no idea what we went to, hotel beds and whatever the expo and stuff was like that from there. Eric, can you recall what was like last year for you building up to marathon? Because you're a little bit nervous with your knee. You've done great running.
Yeah, I had a great first 12 weeks of training and it was really going well. But I kind of got a twinge in the knee and build up to it, so I kind of had to stop for the last 4 weeks, and I ended up out with a sports therapist getting dry needles into the knee, just to try and relax some of the muscles around it. So I spent the last 4 weeks kind of trying to recover, just to partake, and then I was in a bad way afterwards. It was actually, Seán, I only sent you on the stats of my runs, but since October you can see the drop off completely of all my running, just because the knee was a goose after. So I was very nervous. I was looking at, I think I spent the day before looking to get physio, that colour-y tape to try and tape up the knee for support. And I went into, I don't know how many shots, no one had it, and it was a nightmare. But then you had some left over, so you said you'd give that to me, and then we were putting it on the morning of the race because I'd never tried putting it on before, and the thing didn't even stick to my leg. So I was standing in Merrion Square just going, all right, sure, we'll just go for it. So I think in terms of, apart from looking for the tape, massaging the leg, I think my night was a lot more relaxed than yours. I think I cooked a lot of nice food at home, chilled out, and then I think I actually slept all right. I think I was tired when I woke up because I think I could have rang you about 12 o'clock or so saying I was going to bed, but I was a lot more relaxed that time around than I was the one before, because I thought, maybe because I wasn't thinking I could do it, because I didn't know how far I'd get with the knee, so I was just kind of like, mentality was, particularly when talking to Austin and Louisa as well, they were like, should just show up and see what happens. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. It's all we can do. If I drop after the kilometre, I drop, and if I make it to the finish, all the better. But I think that took a lot of the nervous edge off me, was not knowing if I'd even get through a kilometre. So, but yeah, got there in the end. So, I noticed during the race. Then I noticed missing those last 4 weeks of proper training, and
Got you.
that made a big difference for me.
Yeah, you rang me when I was halfway through my second bottle of beetroot juice. The amount of stuff you tried at the expo.
We bought beetroot juice, and then when it came to it, I was afraid to drink it in case it didn't agree with me for the run.
Yeah, I remember I almost had an extra bottle or two in the fridge for around 6 weeks afterwards. I was like, no, like that's just gonna go straight in the bin. Connor, just before we get to you and your story on that, I was listening to a couple of podcasts on that kinesiology tape that Eric was talking about, and I was reading that like that's some of the things behind it is it switches on and switches off muscles whatever way it's taped and stuff. So basically, just to highlight what Eric's talking about, he had it done by a professional. And then we were trying to kind of like mimic that 5-6 days later of someone getting the tape on, but the tape never stuck anyway because it was Mickey Mouse tape that we had.
Masking tape.
Just in case people are thinking, who the hell does Seán think he is trying to use kinesiology tape? That's the story behind it. No, I don't. I've listened. I've read up on stuff on it, and I still don't completely understand it. It's not like you just throw tape on everywhere. There's a certain procedure for it, and it depends on the injury as well. But it's not really my field. With that said, Connor, what was it like the last 24 hours or so before your WC Marathon race?
Yeah, it was very different to the previous year, I suppose, because obviously the year before had been my first marathon. I knew my training hadn't been as good as I wanted it to be, and I think I literally ran in to get my number and ran out of the expo. I didn't even look around, So this year I was kind of more, I was conscious to enjoy the experience a little bit more. My training had been better. I had a full season of hurling behind me as well, so I knew my fitness levels were better. I was lighter. I'd taken part in the Coach Seán Challenge earlier on in the year, and shed a considerable amount of weight. So I knew coming into my preparation was better. And I just wanted to enjoy it. And this year, my little brother Stephen took on his first marathon as well. So, I wanted to make sure that he enjoyed the experience too. So actually, three of us went to the expo, but Stephen came with us as well as my parents. And, I think, I had a slight twinge in my calf, but, aside from that, I felt really good. My training had been good, and I was kind of confident that, I beat my time from the previous year, which was most important. But secondly, I had it in my head to try and break 4 hours, and I didn't say it to anyone, but that was kind of what I was aiming for. So, the expo was enjoyable. As you kind of said, we ate more than we should and tried everything that was going, and, made some great contacts as well. And, so it was a really worthwhile experience. I think the highlight for me there was my grandfather has run a couple of marathons, back in the 80s, and we were able to see his medals from that time, and that kind of hit home, I suppose, kind of the family element to it as well. But Stephen stayed with me that night. So we cooked a big spaghetti bolognese, drank our beetroot juice and a lot of water, watched Gladiator,
Nice.
So we were well in the frame of mind for it in the morning. And funny enough, I don't sleep very well as a rule, but that night I slept like a baby, and I woke up, ready to go. And like even up into the start line was great, because obviously we met up with the three of us met up, and Stephen came with us as well. So it was all, fun and games until obviously the bell rang and it was time to run. So, I think for me, that was the best part, was just kind of knowing that, the work had been done. I think going forward and for my next marathon, there's still, additional things I can bring with me for preparation, but just to, I enjoyed the experience. And that was the real takeaway for me.
Unreal. Aaron, how's your week been?
Pretty good. Why?
I couldn't ask you about last October. I felt like I was just leaving you out. I had to ask you about something. We're not turning to a gardening, it's not any given gardening day, so I just asked how your week was, your runs.
All right.
Sorry for asking you a question on a podcast there, Aaron.
I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me talk about gardening. I was gardening.
Oh.
I was gardening yesterday, and I hurt my back a little bit, and that's where the story's going, I think.
Because we are not running, obviously we're not running the Madrid Marathon. Aaron, you still owe us a marathon. So, you know, I'm going to keep my ear to the ground on if people start dropping out and they're not training now before the Dublin City Marathon. If one of us does find the spare ticket, that golden ticket, putting you on the spot right here and now, are you in?
When is it?
October bank holiday weekend.
Yes, no. Are you in or out?
I'll probably go in. Sure, why not?
100%. Well, that could be season 3 or season 4 of the Any Given Runday podcast. Guys, do any else to add to this week's episode of the podcast?
Nope.
Okay, on that silence, we will wrap it up from here. Cheers, guys, once again for listening to this week's episode of the Any Given Night podcast, and thank you for everyone in the running group. I know we say about it each and every week, but it is getting more and more active. People are being very open in it, talking about their backgrounds with each run and their history in terms of this run went well, this run didn't go well. There's a lot of transparency in the group, and it's really cool to hear. So, guys that are in that running group, I just want to say thank you, because there are days, like for example, Wednesday, I didn't do an interval run because I once again had my class between 5 and 6, and then from 7 to 8, I didn't want to do just 2-3 cakes, and my legs were sore, and I was like, and then I saw all you guys posting up, and I was like, fucking hell, I have to do something. So on Thursday I went down and we changed it up and we did 400 meters. And the reason I did 400 meters is because we got a DM on Instagram talking about the benefit of doing a 400 meter run over 1 kilometer interval run, and how you'd be stronger, you make your calves stronger because it's different type of running, because it's closer to an all-out kind of sprint. So, and I was like, my calves are weak as hell and my intervals suck, so I could try this. So I ended up doing it, and I was somewhat consistent with that. I went for 8 of them, and I was very happy, and I wouldn't have got that without you guys. So thank you to everyone in the run group. Just because we're hosting this running group doesn't mean we're saying we're the be-all, end-all, we know it all experts. We're not that in pretty much anything we do. I like to have a white belt mentality when it comes to that and try and keep learning new things. So, yeah, long way of saying thank you. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for keep supporting the podcast, letting people know about it. And that is it from all 4 of us, from all of us. Take care.